Capitals. The Caps look for their third straight win. It is the Capitals and the Penguins coming up live from the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh.
Friday night in Washington, and the Capitals were smoking. 6 goals from 6 different scorers put the Caps in a position to win the series in Pittsburgh today. This afternoon, the Capitals look to put the Penguins on ice for the year. All over again for Eddie Johnston. This year looks a lot like last year when the Penguins lost out to Washington in the first round. But the Pens, led by superstar Jaromir Jagr, would rather remember '92 when they won 3 straight to beat Washington in 7. The question is, which deja vu will come true? Tonight on TSN. Brought to you by Molson Canadian. And by All Sport, the new sports drink for athletes. All Sport, the game will never be the same. Let's come inside the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh for Game 5 between the Washington Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Hi, everybody. Dan Schulman and Randy Gregg with you in the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. Deja vu all over again for the Penguins. They've trailed the Capitals 3-1 in 2 of the last 3 playoff years. Once they won. Last year they lost. They've got a tough task ahead of them this year, Randy, to get back into this series.
Well, they certainly do. Not only today, but they have to win the game. They also have to create momentum for themselves because going back to Washington, they don't have a very, very good record going in there. So it's going to be a difficult task, but they've got the talent on the ice if they want to do it.
Pick a matchup or 2 for us that may decide this game.
Well, certainly the matchup, Jagr against Carey. Carey coming in, first-year goaltender, playing very, very well. Jagr is by far and away the most effective offensive player this year. And also the one-on-one battles. We have to simplify the game of hockey. It's the one-on-one battles in the corners, in front of the net. The winners will be the winners of the game.
Again, Barrasso is out. Ken Reggett is back in for the Penguins. It's Game 5 between Pittsburgh and Washington. Coming up next on TSN.
baskets, 300-point games, 100-yard courts. In the future, athletes will make the game faster, farther, tougher. But today's athlete can choose new All Sport. Fluid replacement, unsurpassed taste, 4 thirst-quenching flavors. All Sport is a body quencher. So before it gets to this, new All Sport, the game will never be the same.
It's so easy you'll fall in love. 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 It's so easy.
Introducing the JVC Easy One, the first point-and-shoot camcorder. Easy to use, easy to watch, because its tapes play on any VHS VCR.
It's so easy you'll fall in love.
The JVC Easy One.
Welcome back to the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh for Game 5 between the Capitals and the Penguins. Washington leading this series 3-1. And Randy, there's a lot of noise in this arena. You'd swear that the Penguins were up 3-1 by the crowd enthusiasm.
Well, you know, these fans have seen a Stanley Cup champion 2 times in the past, and so they're excited about it again. Playoff time is always exciting, but especially when you've experienced that Stanley Cup championship. They know, of course, their team has to play much more solidly, but they certainly have that opportunity today.
Jim Carey back in there to start for the Washington Capitals, the rookie phenom during the regular season. And on the other side, Ken Reggett will make his 4th start of the series. Tom Barrasso started Game 4 for the Penguins. He's not even dressed as the backup. Wendell Young is the backup to Reggett for the Penguins today.
Tom Barrasso, with a history of a wrist injury during the year, came back. I think Eddie Johnson is trying to do some changes to get his team a little bit more motivated, and what better place than to try to get a hot goaltender.
Tonight's starting goaltenders are brought to you by JVC. Technically perfect, perfectly simple. Getting a look at Mike Magoo, referee in today's game. The linesmen are Wayne Bonney and Jay Scherers. The standby official for today's game is Dan Marawelli. Behind the Penguin bench, Eddie Johnston searching for some answers. He's made a couple of lineup changes in addition to bringing Ken Reggett back into the game. On the other side, Jim Schoenfeld, who we're going to look at in a second, is pretty comfortable with the way that his team is playing. The Capitals up 3-1, and Schoenfeld has this team believing in themselves right now.
Not only believing in themselves, but playing together as a 5-man unit very well. Their goaltenders being consistent, getting better every game, Jim Carey has. But the real key, of course, is that 5-man unit that's playing very well. Something that Pittsburgh hasn't quite mastered yet in this series.
Well, there's one of the real leaders, the captain of the Washington Capitals. Dale Hunter had 4 points in the first game of this series. He'll start at center for the Caps, and for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Sean McEachern gets set to take the faceoff. Some line juggling for both teams here as Luc Robitaille lines up with McEachern and Sandstrom. And the noise builds as the game begins. Game 5 between the Caps and Pens. Washington leading 3-1. They're down at the Pittsburgh zone where Ulf Samuelsson overskates it briefly. His defense partner is Chris Joseph. Left wing pass and a good one to McEachern into Washington territory. Tries to go around Gonchar. Centers it. Sandstrom with a quick shot just wide. Now the Capitals clear. Good early chance for the Penguins. Back the other way. Reggett makes his first save of the game on Peter Bondra. The scratches for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Tom Barrasso, the wrist is still bothering him, so he's not in there even as the backup. Chris Tamer has a fractured ankle. Len Berry, a bruised sternum. The other players simply scratched by Coach Eddie Johnston. For the Washington Capitals, some injuries as well. Dave Poulin and Mark Tenorti, both suffering injuries. Everyone else, extra players for the Capitals in this game. Face off in Pittsburgh territory to the right of Ken Reggett. Penguins have changed up their lines a little bit. Troy Murray's out there now. Hunter still on the draw for the Caps. He has Eagles to his left and Bondra to his right, and now Hunter is tossed out, and the crowd likes that. Anything that can get on Dale Hunter.
He's certainly not a fan favorite in the opposing rink, but back in Washington, he's probably the most popular Washington Capital player.
Off the draw, the Penguins clear it out to center ice. Joe Mullen chases after it. Now delayed offside, and Miller clears the zone. Right wing pass too far for Mullen. Joe Ricci heading back. Doesn't see Murray, who missed him with a check and then was flattened himself. And the hitting begins early here in Game 5. Murray back to the point. Shot well wide and high off the stick of Francois Leroux. Shot is reflected into the stands. The faceoff will come down to Washington territory. A little bit of early pressure in this game for the Penguins.
Well, some good pressure and an interesting decision by Eddie Johnston to bring Chris Joseph back into the lineup. Joseph, a very, very offensive player, but unfortunately in the 2 games that he's played, he's -6. And Eddie was saying before the game, he's a little bit worried about the defensive lapses that are going on. Right there, a couple of young players out, putting some good offensive pressure on the Capitals.
we'll see the big line for the Penguins for the first time this afternoon. Ron Francis, Jaromir Jagr, and Kevin Stevens on the left wing today. Jagr, the Art Ross Trophy winner in the NHL this year, 70 points in the abbreviated schedule. He and Francis have had a good series. The problem for the Penguins is they haven't had much beyond their top 4 or 5 players. Now cleared into Pittsburgh territory. Reggett shoots it to the line, not out, and he had to hustle to get back to his net. Norm McIver made a nice play to block that shot. Eagles too far for Miller, and Hunter will chase it in. Reggett again plays it, and again kept it at the point, this time by Cote. Behind the net, Hunter. He's watched by Ian Moran, reinserted into the Penguin lineup today. Now a chance, and fanning on the shot was Keith Jones. Cote behind the net for Jones. He leaves it for Hunter. Now the Penguins take over, but they can't clear. Another giveaway. Shot is blocked. Puck still in there. Hunter battling with Moran. Now Jaromir Jagr finally has a chance to clear and does so, but he clears it all the way down the ice, and it'll be an icing call on the Pens.
Dale Hunter, we see the NHL leading playoff penalty minute leader at 613 minutes over 133 games. Certainly his tenacity and energy brings a lot to this Washington Capitals team, but we have to make sure, especially from the Capitals standpoint, going against the power play that Pittsburgh can put together, to be very, very consistent and not taking those bad penalties.
Hunter should see a lot of ice time against the Ron Francis line. A look at Michael Pavelka of the Washington Capitals. Centering right now Bondra and Joey Juneau, as Jim Schoenfeld has tossed his lines around a little bit. McEachern on the draw for the Pens. Face off to the right of Reggett. Won cleanly by the Caps, and a nice early glove save by Kenny Reggett. He'll hold on. A new look for Ken Reggett today.
Well, it's interesting. We talk about superstitions in the National Hockey League. Whatever it takes to get back on a person's game, Ken Reggett thinks that mask may be part of it, but there's no question he has to be the backstop for this offensive machine that Pittsburgh can put on the ice. A nice save by Reggett, but as you can see, real good angle, way out of his crease. There's no way that puck was going through him to get into the net.
Reggett started the first 3 games of this series, was pulled after 40 minutes in Game 3. Tom Barrasso gave up 2 goals in the third period of Game 3 and then 6 in Game 4. He's not completely healthy, and Reggett's back in there in this crucial Game 5 for the Pens. Again on the drop, Ivanka. And now Francis, won by the Caps, and the shot blocked, kept in at the line. That's deflected into the corner. Pavanka throws it in front, nobody there. Bondra on the far boards, hit by Samuelson. Samuelson tries to clear. Stevens loses it. Pens keep it in. Another save by Reggett. Washington doing a great job the last couple of shifts of hemming the Penguins in their own end, and again the Penguins are forced to ice the puck.
It's interesting to note that with Eddie Johnson juggling his lineup, one always wonders as a player, especially in the Stanley Cup playoffs, whether that creates a little bit of irregularity in the consistency that you play as a 5-man unit. You can see some passes there normally right on the money are missing a little bit. It seems to me, and we've seen with many international teams, that 5-man units typically have been most effective. And early on, at least, Eddie is changing around. He's got some very offensive defensemen with his offensive line, his #1 line. We'll see as the game goes how exactly Eddie decides to play this game.
And he's made many more changes from game to game than Jim Schoenfeld has, but I guess when you're down 3-1, you're more likely to try to change things than when you're up 3-1. Quick shifts for both teams. A lot of whistles in the early going as McEachern is out there on the draw against Konowalchuk now for the Capitals. Again won by the Caps. Johnson battling with Robitaille, and McEachern gets it out. The stoppage in play. And the face-off, it looks like, will come back inside Pittsburgh territory, as that puck may have been knocked ahead with a high stick.
You know, Dan, for the players, the Stanley Cup playoffs are really the pinnacle of the complete season. It's a time when you can do just about anything you have to win the game. The physical portion of the game continues, but we make sure that penalties are kept down to a minimum. It's a great time for fans and players alike to watch the games. and experience the excitement of a great game of hockey.
And make no mistake, as the Pens came out on the ice here, as the wraparound attempt by Berube comes close, there was a lot of noise. And it continues into the game. And a penalty coming, as down in the corner behind the play, Chris Joseph was getting into it with Keith Jones, and Keith Jones is heading to the penalty box. First power play of the game will go to Pittsburgh.
Here we can see the action in the corner. Chris Joseph being tackled down in the corner, a couple of punches to the face. You don't think Keith Jones was reading the statistics of the first 4 games of the series, knowing that Chris Joseph was -6, get on him offensively, put a lot of pressure, get Joseph thinking that the next time he touches that puck, he's right over his shoulder. So an early penalty, we'll see whether Pittsburgh's power play can capitalize, but not a bad idea in the point of Washington. Get in on those young defensemen, with a lot of early pressure.
Jones unhappy with the call, as it appeared Joseph may have had a hold on Jones's stick, but Jones retaliated, got caught by Magoo. 2:58 into period number 1. It's scoreless. The Pittsburgh Penguins heading to the power play here in Game 5.
If it doesn't have spirit, it's not worth doing. Stretch out.
Scoreless in the first, and the Penguins on the power play as play just back underway here at the Civic Arena. Offside is called. The Penguins, boy, they can send 5 players out there against you with the man advantage. It's Jágr, Francis, Larry Murphy back at the point, Kevin Stevens, Norm McIver. They've got some potent offensive players.
They sure do, and there's really the 2 keys are Larry Murphy and Jaromir Jágr. Larry Murphy this year on for 76% of the power play goals that the Pittsburgh Penguins score. That's an amazing statistic. Really, that whole power play focuses around Murphy up at the top, and of course all the great talent down below to finish off the plays.
Face-off outside the Washington blue line. 1:47 left in the minor penalty to Keith Jones. First penalty of the game. Yet another delay at the face-off, and Mike Eagles and Ron Francis are both tossed. Stevens will come in for the Penguins. Miller for the Capitals. One by Stevens. Norm McIver's going to shoot it in. At the point, Murphy and Miller struggling, and the Capitals get it out. Now back in and to center ice. Norm McIver regroups. To center ice with Jágr. Jágr into Washington territory, and to avoid a check, and the Capitals managed to clear it down the ice. 1:10 left in the minor penalty to Jones.
Capitals effectively taking away that mid-ice zone. McIver again has to dump the puck in, something I'm sure Pittsburgh doesn't want to do all the time.
Stevens in there quickly. Francis battling behind the net with Cote. Kept in by Murphy, and saved by Jim Carey. And again, Washington clears. Joe Ricci in an offside at the Pittsburgh blue line. Let's get an update now on the Nordique and the Rangers from Quebec.
All right, Dan, first goal of the hockey game goes back. Wendell Clark with a nice pass for Mike Ricci. Ricci gets a couple of cracks at it, then finally beats Richter. Nordique's out front at 1-0.
The Nordique, like the Penguins, facing elimination on home ice. Down to 44 seconds left in the minor penalty. Keith Jones, Jim Schoenfeld's club, forced to kill off an early penalty.
Momentum is going to be key in this game, Dan, that's for sure. And early on with this penalty, not only if they kill the penalty, but create some offensive opportunities. There's a number of Capitals that have a great deal of shorthanded goals. But wouldn't that be something if Washington was able to score the first while killing a penalty?
Well, someone who has other ideas Ken Reggett doesn't want to let anything get by him. The Capitals have scored the first goal in 3 of the 4 games in this series, and Luc Robitaille focused down at the other end. He's got 3 goals in this series and would love to get the Penguins off quickly here today.
It's an interesting decision that Eddie Johnston makes, whether to put a couple or at least one stay-at-home defenseman on your power play so that you don't give up that shorthanded goal, or go all guns blaring as he did the first time with 2 offensive defensemen, of course, his number 1 line.
Down to 30 seconds left in the penalty. The play in Pittsburgh territory. Kelly Miller doing a nice job tying up a couple of Penguins, but now John Cullen breaks free. Again, the shooting. This one hit a leg, and Carey could play it. Johansson into the face-off circle now. Caps can't clear. Chris Joseph looks across to Samuelson. Samuelson, the shot didn't get through. Johansson, 2 Eagles, and down the ice. 5 seconds left in the penalty.
And really no effective shots whatsoever by the Pittsburgh Penguins in this first. Great opportunity for them to open up the play. They've started out slowly in previous games. They really needed a good showing in this power play, and they didn't get it.
Keith Jones out of the box. The penalty over. Let's get an update now on the Flyers and the Sabres.
We take you to the Spectrum. This one needed video review. Eric Lindros winds up with the point shot. Now the question is, did it go across the line? Hasek tries to keep control of it. They do rule it a goal. It is 1-0 Philadelphia. Hasek had it in his glove, brought it out across the line. But it is a goal, and the Flyers have the lead.
So early goals in Quebec. And in Philadelphia, still scoreless here in Pittsburgh between the Capitals and Penguins. 5 minutes and 8 seconds into the first period.
I'd have to think that one of the players that will be maybe one of the most important players in this team is not even playing, and that's Dave Poulin. His dressing room experience, the fact he's got a separated shoulder, I'm sure he was down in the dressing room getting them well motivated and really directing this intense team effort that Washington has been so successful with.
This is onside into Washington territory. It's Rusty Fitzgerald. One of the extra forwards put back into the lineup by Eddie Johnston. He's out there with Joe Mullen and Troy Murray, who delivers a bit of a hit there on Johansson. Capitals retain possession. Now they give it away, and Fitzgerald sends it into Washington territory. Here he is again. Behind the net to Mullen. Fitzgerald to the slot. In front, Troy Murray couldn't get there. Now falls to his knees. Fanned on the shot, and 4 Capitals break to center ice. Juneau. Gonchar, Sergei Gonchar, right in there, and he dumped a pass off for Konowalchuk, who couldn't get a shot away, but he's drawn a penalty on Troy Murray. Jim Carey to the bench as now the Capitals will have their first power play opportunity of the game.
Well, and Sergei Gonchar had a great opportunity in front of the net. That all started down at the other end and almost finished off with a Washington goal.
Scoreless in Pittsburgh. The Caps to the power play when we come back to Pittsburgh.
At Dodge, we thought about how cars like this have to respond quickly. Just like you. Cars like this have to maneuver through heavy traffic. And so do you. But cars like this have a double wishbone suspension to give them that kind of control. Well, when you buy a new Dodge Stratus, so do you. Dodge Stratus, the cure for performance anxiety.
Troy Murray in the penalty box for the Penguins. First power play of the game for Washington, and now a break for Sean McEachern. Tried to throw it in front for Mike Hudson. The pass didn't get through, and back come the Capitals. Bondra. Pivanka gets a shot away. Save Reggett. Puck bouncing in front. Kristich lost his stick. Now Cote. He's back there with Johansson on the point. This is the big line for the Capitals. They combined, the 3 of them did, for 10 points in Game 4. Cote can't keep it in. Mike Hudson giving Cote a slash in neutral ice. And back come the Caps with a shoot-in of their own. Bondra kept in. Shot by Johansson, and Reggett saw it all the way. He'll hold on for a face-off with 1:17 left in the penalty.
And a smart play by Ken Reggett there. He saw his forwards and defensemen scrambling. They didn't get into a good defensive position in a box. And he said, I could keep this play going, but I'm just going to hold it and make sure we get a good change, settle down again, get that puck back into the Washington end.
Let's get another update now from Quebec.
We pick it up at 1-0 Nordiques. Rangers on a power play here. There's a scramble in front. Graves digs it out from under Thibault's glove, and here's Mark Messier, his second of the playoffs. Rangers back to even at 1.
All right, John, back here in Pittsburgh, still scoreless. The Capitals on the power play. Dale Hunter out on the draw against Ron Francis. Draw one by Francis. The Penguins clear it down the ice. Back is Johansson. He's out there now with Gonchar, Hunter, Juneau, and way down at the Pittsburgh blue line is Keith Jones. Hunter gets it in. Takes a hit from LaRue. Kept in by Gonchar. Now behind the net. LaRue has a chance to clear and does.
Very nice play by LaRue there, knowing he had an opening, but he got it up high so that even if the player was trying to intercept it, there's no way they could glove that puck down and keep it in the zone.
Shot back in by the Caps. Juneau's roughed up a little bit by Ulf Samuelsson. Behind the net, the Caps try to get control. Pittsburgh killing off this penalty pretty well. Now Keith Jones with a little bit of room. Hunter to Juneau. Back to the point. Gonchar doesn't shoot it. Jim Johnson may. It was screened but wide. Down to 15 seconds left in the penalty. Somebody's lost a helmet. It's Shel Samuelsson. Juneau to Gonchar. There's a shot through traffic again, and the puck lay there in front of the open net, but no Capitals were in the vicinity. And as Pittsburgh shoots it down the ice, the penalty to Murray expires. Play continues. Konowalchuk for the Capitals. Sharp angle shot off the side of the net. Or McIver. Kept in by Washington. Cote moves right in there, and Ron Francis did a great job back checking there. Now he starts back the other way with Kevin Stevens, who overskated it. Pretty good pace here in the first period. Penguins need to win to stay alive. This is Chris Joseph. Too far for Stevens, and Cote will go get it. So Konowalchuk, he's been a pleasant surprise. 6 points in 4 games. Washington carrying the early play. The shots are 7-1 Capitals. Now Rusty Fitzgerald having all kinds of problems. Gets around his man, and now a hit down in the corner. But Washington has the puck. They turn it over. Hudson. Cullen can't find it. Here's Bondra with Pivanka. Bondra. Shel Samuelsson still hasn't had time to get that helmet. We haven't had a whistle in a while. Johansson, sharp angle, doesn't get through. Now in front, Reggett tries to clear it away. Cullen does, but not out. Bounces in front again. Penalty coming. To Pittsburgh, Johansson. And finally, Shel Samuelsson gains control for the Penguins as Johansson had a great chance but couldn't get a shot away.
Well, and in those plays, it's very typical of seeing the Washington Capital forwards dominating the front of the net. Shel Samuelsson taking a 2-minute holding penalty to try to gain some control in front of his net. Here we see right there a little bit too much of a hold to the referee's liking, but a great play by that Washington Capital forward to maintain. Look at the tripod stance in front. Very difficult for a defenseman to get that man out of the way of the goaltender, give him a good look at the shot coming in.
Second power play opportunity for the Capitals. Each team has had one chance so far in this game, still scoreless. Ken Reggett has been tested quite a bit, a couple of times by Calle Johansson. He's played well so far.
Well, it was interesting 2 or 3 minutes ago, we saw the Pittsburgh Penguins starting to take the body more consistently, some of their bigger players going into the corner and really trying to dominate the play physically. All of a sudden the momentum started to change, and I think Eddie Johnson certainly wants his bigger players, but of course all of them, to play the body well. They have to start to dominate.
We've got another update for you now from Dallas.
And the Stars have their first lead in any game of the series. Out from behind for Greg Adams, Mike Vernon gets caught looking the wrong way. There's Adams with a goal, and Dallas has a 1-0 lead in Game 4.
Now the Stars, like so many other teams, just fighting to stay alive today. Here it's the Penguins, who were knocked out by these very same Washington Capitals in 6 games last year, and they face a similar fate here this season, trailing 3-1. To the power play go the Capitals. Shell Samuelson in the box. Troy Murray on the draw for the Pens. Michael Pavanka for Washington out there again with Bondra and Kristich. Juneau's back at the point with Kalle Johansson. Larry Murphy can't get his stick free as it was being held by Kristich. Now the puck to the slot and a quick shot to get through Reggett, but Francois Leroux cleared it away. He's made a couple of very big plays here in the early going. He's lost his stick. Actually, he's given it to Reggett, who has lost his stick. Juneau back to the point, now gets it back. Shot doesn't get through. Penguins need to clear and do.
Smart play by Frankie Leroux. They're not only clearing the puck as it was rolling into the net, but also reacting to his goaltender losing his stick and making sure the goaltender, of course, your last bastion of defense, he needs the stick more than anyone on the ice.
Back come the Capitals. They're onside. Juneau. The give and go with Kristich. Johansson back at the point. It's blocked in front. Doesn't get through. Pittsburgh will clear it again just out to center ice. 1:05 left in the penalty to Shell Samuelson. Shoots it in this time. Ulf Samuelson to the line and out as the Capitals didn't have the point covered. Mike Hudson doing some nice work on the far boards, but the Capitals take over, and here's Juneau. Kristich to the front of the net, gets the pass, managed to get a shot on net. Kristich was really rubbed off on the end boards by Ulf Samuelson. Penguins clear the zone again.
We haven't seen a great deal of pressure that the Pittsburgh Penguins forwards have created in the offensive zone. And I think that's a big reason why we haven't seen many offensive opportunities for them either.
25 seconds left in the Washington power play. Leroux seeing a lot of ice time for the Pens. Gives it away this time. In front, Jones to Konowalczyk. They score. Make it Hunter in front. Hunter gets the goal for Washington as Leroux, after a couple of great plays, gave it away in his own zone, and it's 1-0 Washington.
Well, Francois Leroux, 6'6", 225 pounds, was playing like a young offensive defenseman. But unfortunately, a play like this, that's all it takes in the Stanley Cup playoffs. A little miscue. And who's there? But Dale Hunter, of course. Nice, easy goal for him. Eddie Johnson was telling us a little bit earlier that they had to make sure and watch the miscues, and that couldn't have been a more difficult miscue for Francois Leroux.
And you could see how upset Leroux was with himself after the play as Hunter has his third goal of the playoffs, his 7th point. Jones picks up the only assist on the goal. It's a power play goal at 11:19 of the first, and the Capitals have a 1-0 lead.
We talked a little bit earlier about the Washington Capital forwards getting intense pressure on these young defensemen. And although when you've got Samuelson out there, that's not much of a problem, you do have people like Joseph and Leroux. And although he had been played very well up to that point, all it takes is one miscue, and that's a very, very important goal. Pittsburgh Penguins did not want to get behind in this game early.
Kevin Stevens saying yesterday that every time the Penguins have looked up at the scoreboard in this series, they seem to be fighting just to catch up. No icing on this play. They would have loved the opening goal. But Washington with a 3-1 series lead has a 1-0 lead here in this game. Now back for McIver, leaves it for Stevens. That shot deflected to the corner. And now a penalty the other way as Kelly Miller took down Ron Francis. The Penguins down a goal, head to the power play when we come back.
There's a new neon starting to show up out there. And lurking under its lovable hood is a 150 horsepower surprise. Look for details in the fast lane. Say hello to the other neon. The Sport Coupe. Now at your Dodge and Plymouth dealers.
Where am I going to get the hand? It doesn't fit. I told you that was hard. You're not doing it right. Don't goof up, man.
Still working with prehistoric copiers?
Uh-oh.
Get a Mita. The last Mita copier Buyers Lab tested needed only one service call while making over 1 million copies.
You're going to drop the paper. I'm not going to...
Just a reminder, when you think duplication, think Mita copiers.
Today's game brought to you in part by Chrysler Canada. inside the Civic Arena in the penalty box for the Capitals, Kelly Miller, who picks up a holding minor at 11:41 of the first. And the Penguins, Randy, trailing 1-0, have a good chance to tie this game up.
Well, and they need it right now. Only 8 minutes to go in the first period. They're already behind the 8 ball. They certainly can't afford a shorthanded goal, and they have to create that momentum. We talked about it, not only winning this game, but getting a strong momentum force behind them to go back to the Washington Capitol Arena, because they haven't been successful there. 0-5 in the last 5 playoff games.
Cullen tossed out. Robitaille will take the draw for Pittsburgh. Wins it back to the point, and it's kept in by McIver. He's out there with Larry Murphy on the point for Pittsburgh. Throws it in front. Carry down, and he somehow finds the puck as Cullen and Sandstrom were in there slashing away. Let's get another update for you now from Quebec.
1-1 Nordiques Rangers as we pick it up midway in the first. It is Wendell Clark got the loose puck there and let a rifle of a shot go, beating Richter. Nordiques into the lead at 2-1.
Wendell Clark in on both goals for the Nordiques today. Face off to the right of Jim Carey. The Capitals have carried the play, and they lead 1-0. Sandstrom with a quick shot, just wide on the short side. That came right off the draw. Now behind the net, 5 players, now 6 are back there trying to get the puck free. And over on the far boards, McIver to Cullen, watched by Jim Johnson, pins him in on the boards. Eagles in there for the Capitals, along with Johansson. Sandstrom battling for Pittsburgh. Robitaille in there as well. Now Murphy with a little bit of room. Gets a shot away. Easy save for Carey. And the Capitals clear it down the ice. 1:20 left in the minor penalty to Kelly Miller.
It's interesting to see that quick shot right off the face-off there in the offensive left-hand side of Pittsburgh. That's a miscue on the defenseman's standpoint in Washington. He can't afford to get that quick shot. That's a very difficult one for the goaltender.
Here's Yager with Stevens. Cote takes over for Washington, bumped by Francis, but again the Capitals clear. Now less than a minute to go in the minor. Yager takes a bump, dumps it off for Stevens. Francis to the front of the net. Now picks it up in the face-off circle. Puts on the brakes and finds Murphy. Murphy tees it up. A couple of Penguins there. Neither one could tip it home. And again, Washington clears.
One of the first times we see there a Pittsburgh Penguin forward standing in front of the net unobtrusively, looking for that rebound. It was a great play by Larry Murphy, and almost the Penguins' first goal.
Capitals clear. Chance for a break now. Eagles. Regan dumps it off to the end boards. Chris Joseph behind his net now. Down to 15 seconds left in the minor to Miller. Yager with Stevens. McEachern gets his shot away. Saved by Carey. LaRue clears it around on the near boards. Penguins just do keep it in, but only for a moment. The penalty's now over. This will be offside unless Konowalchuk clears the zone, and he does. 2 power plays for each team. The Capitals have scored one of theirs. The Penguins are over 2. It's 1-0 Washington. Overtime bumped by Johnson. Maintains control. Finds LaRue. The shot is tipped. Carey the save. The rebound is loose. Washington controls. Craig Berube, as a Penguin player, was pulled down behind the play. It was Francis. Big bounce now. Juneau couldn't find it in front of the net for Berube, and the Penguins very lucky there. Now here's LaRue. His giveaway led to the Washington goal. Cullen for McIver. Mullen to the front of the net. There's the puck in front of Ricky, and Mullen battling. Pittsburgh controls. Cullen. McIver the shot, and Jim Carey somehow saw it, got the glove on it, makes the save. 5:19 left in period number 1. The Capitals with a 1-0 lead.
.20-foot baskets, 300-point games, 100-yard courts. In the future, athletes will make the game faster, farther, tougher. But today's athlete can choose new All-Sport. Fluid replacement, unsurpassed taste, 4 thirst-quenching flavors. All-Sport is a body quencher. So before it gets to this, new All-Sport, the game will never be the same.
1-0 Dallas leading Detroit Stars power play. Here's Kevin Hatcher winding up with a big shot. That's Adams in front. Vernon is beaten and the Stars have a 2-0 lead in the first. On to Quebec now. Nordique's leading 2-1 on the Rangers, 31 seconds after Clark's goal. Here's Chris Simon wandering around, wandering in front. He goes up high to beat Rector, and Quebec has a 3-1 lead.
Now in both Quebec and Dallas, teams facing elimination, playing well so far. Here in Pittsburgh, the Penguins trail the Capitals 1-0, and a goal by Dale Hunter. His third of the playoffs. Now 5 minutes left in the first period as Francis breaks for Pittsburgh. And stay on side. Stevens, now Yager. The big line for Pittsburgh. Yager behind the net, so strong, gets it out in front, but again, Jim Carey finds the puck and he'll hold on. Closed captioning this period, courtesy of Regal Capital Planners, over 25 years helping Canadians reach financial independence. .451 left in the first. Jaromir Jagr has led the Penguins through the regular season. They need him to lead him here as well.
Well, unfortunately, the Pittsburgh Penguins need a lot more than Jaromir Jagr. And, you know, it's interesting. A lot of people think, and they check the momentum of a game by the amount of offensive opportunities. I guess as an old defensive defenseman, I check the lack or the intensity of momentum in front of the net. And if we take a look at this distinct difference between the net in the Pittsburgh end and in front of the net in the Washington end, it's completely different. The Washington defensemen are certainly controlling the play much better.
Let's look at the series last year between these two teams and then this year. The first 4 games going exactly the same way each year. So if it'll be deja vu all over again, that means the Penguins will win today. Of course, Game 6. Pittsburgh did come back from a 3-1 deficit against the Capitals in 1992 and went on to win the Stanley Cup that year. The Penguins choose to remember 92 more than 94.
They sure do, and I think they choose to remember number 66 along with them at that time.
They'll do it again. Face off to the left of Washington goaltender Jim Carey. The Capitals, though, not intimidated by the Penguins, by their ability. That man, Dale Hunter, certainly not intimidated by anybody. They're very confident right now, the Capitals, but at the same time, they realize how fine a line it is between success and failure in this series. Capitals control off the draw. Calle Johansson to center ice, hounded by Yager. And this is Murphy. Francis wheeling out of his own zone. Left wing pass and a lot of open ice. McIver back to Stevens. Penguins don't get a shot away. Now McIver tries to race back. Stevens is back there covering up for him. Penguins. And they score! A 2-on-2. And it's Calle Johansson as Norm McIver got caught up ice. Kevin Stevens hustled back, but Johansson with a great shot. 2-0 Washington.
Well, Calle Johansson, the top Capital defenseman scorer this year, shows just why. A great slap shot from the high slot, but this play started right here. Some excellent hustle by Kelly Miller all the way down. Usually a defensive player, takes that defenseman with him. A nice speed, and unfortunately Murphy had backed up to a point where he was really out of that play. A one-on-one shot. The shooter wins that time.
Kevin Stevens did all he could to get back into the play, but with McIver caught up ice, Johansson got a great shot away, and it's 2-0 Washington with less than 5 minutes left in the first.
In a situation like that, with a little bit more communication between Stevens and Murphy, Murphy can back off and take that trailer, Johansson, and take away that offensive opportunity.
Now Eddie Johnston and company are up against it. The Capitals out to another lead. The 4th time in 5 games they've scored first, and they've scored the first 2 goals here in this game. Late in the first, it's the Capitals 2 and the Penguins nothing. Pittsburgh facing elimination here at the Civic Arena today. A lot of that atmosphere and noise in this building has disappeared right now. Sandstrom behind the net for the Penguins. Watched by Kristich. Sandstrom loses his helmet. Robitaille. Another battle behind the net. Johnson's back there. Looks like he's got McEachern wrapped up. Fans want a penalty, don't get one. Again, 5, sometimes 6 players behind Jim Carey battling for the puck, and the Penguins just can't get any kind of real pressure as the Capitals are banging them on the boards time after time. This is just the first of 2 games 2 playoff games we'll have for you on TSN today. NHL Game Night comes your way at 7 o'clock this evening Eastern Time with John Wells, Bob McKenzie, and Terry Crisp. And then the game itself, the Devils and the Bruins. Boston facing elimination as well. New Jersey leading that series 3-1. Back inside the Civic Arena, 3:43 left in the first. Washington 2, Pittsburgh nothing. At times, Randy, in games in this series when the Capitals got a 2 or 3 goal lead, the Penguins rolled over. They face elimination today. Do you expect to see them continue to play with some intensity today?
Oh, absolutely. They've got a lot of quality, experienced forwards and defensemen on the lineup, but I'm just wondering how many of these Pittsburgh Penguin fans in the Civic Arena right now are saying to themselves, I wonder what this game would be like if Mario Lemieux was on our team. Not only does he create great offensive chances, but he splits up that offensive thrust so that this team is not quite as one-dimensional as it has been in this series.
And we continue to see Eddie Johnston juggle his lines. It's Troy Murray, Joe Mullen, and Rusty Fitzgerald out there now for the Pens. Johnston looking for a combination that will click for the Penguins. Play in the Washington end. 2-0 Capitals. This is Joe Mullen. Watched by Johansson. Got a sharp angle shot on Carey. The rebound is gobbled up, and here come the Caps. Keith Jones shoots it into the corner. And a penalty is coming. Before we tell you about it, let's get an update from the Spectrum.
1-0 Flyers lead the Sabres as we pick it up here. It is Lindros with a high flip pass here, coming right down to Kevin Haller, who walks in on Dominic Hasek. Haller makes it 2-0. Flyers leading the Sabres.
High sticking. Time of the penalty, 16.
Back here in Pittsburgh, another penalty to the Penguins. Rusty Fitzgerald back in the lineup here for Game 5. Picks up a high sticking minor. And the Capitals, who already have 1 power play goal today, have another chance.
Well, and a nasty penalty, too, for Fitzgerald behind the play. There was no chance of recreating things here. It's showing the frustration. And, of course, then we look back again. The first game that Rusty Fitzgerald played in about 2, it could be that as a young player, he's going out and trying to make something happen. You certainly don't make things happen by slashing behind the play.
The faceoff will be down in Pittsburgh territory to the right of Ken Reggett. It's 2-0 Capitals. Dale Hunter and Calle Johansson with the goals for the Caps. Hunter's a power play goal. This is the 3rd power play of the game for Washington. They're 1 for 2. Penguins get it out. Juneau and Cote on the point for the Capitals. Kristich, Bondra, Pivanka up front for Washington. Here comes Juneau. Backhand pass to Cote. Put the brakes on to take it, and now the Capitals will have to go back into their own zone and start again. Yager and Francis killing the penalty for the Penguins up front. The Samuelsons back on the blue line. A little bit of room now for the Caps. Here comes Bondra. Has Pivanka with him. Now Kristich. Shel Samuelson picks off the pass, gets it up on the near boards. Pittsburgh clears, and here's Yager one-on-one. Jaromir Yager, big move. He scores. What a beautiful goal by Jaromir Yager. It's 2-1 Washington.
Thinking to myself, what an interesting combination. Your 2 offensive forwards, you're going to tire them out, but maybe Eddie Johnston knows more than I do. He's seen this man perform before. What a great one-on-one play. Not many defensemen are going to stop that, and in fact, it wasn't a defenseman. You see Joe Juneau, who probably, maybe never in his career before, has had to go one-on-one against a great star like Yager.
Well, all of a sudden, and short-handed at that, Jaromir Yager has brought the Civic Arena back to life. His 4th goal of the series, and Washington's lead has been cut in half. It's now Capitals 2, Penguins 1. What a play.
Dan, do you think a great offensive star like Yager knows that? He sees that there's a forward on the defensive position in the power play. He sure was ready for it. That's a great play. That could beat a lot of defensemen, but certainly an offensive forward like Juno has probably never seen that play once before.
I think Jim Schoenfeld's side, because he's got two true defensemen back on the blue line now. Remember, the Capitals still on the power play. Gonchar and Johansson are out there playing the point for Washington as Sandstrom tries to get it ahead to Joe Muller. 45 seconds left in the penalty to Rusty Fitzgerald. Ron Francis and Shell Samuelson pick up assists on the Yager goal. Here come the Caps. Konowalchuk. Hunter's in there. Watched by Hudson. Konowalchuk taken down. Gonchar. Hunter. Konowalchuk. Sharp angle. Didn't get a good shot away. And another penalty is coming to the Penguins. Washington will have a two-man advantage. Today's game brought to you in part by Chrysler Canada. Let's take another look at the Yager goal.
Well, we could take a look at this goal 5 or 6 more times and still be amazed. Take a look at that. A little angle to the left. Bring the puck back. This is like picking feathers for this young man right there. A great, great play. It was interesting. Jaromir Jagr, an hour and a half before the game today, out on the ice, checking out his sticks with his running shoes and his sweatpants on. Obviously, he's getting them ready for a play like that.
Now, the Penguins, a greater concern to them right now is that Ulf Samuelsson has gone to the penalty box for slashing.
You see the slash right at the side of our screen there. You know, it's interesting, when you're killing a penalty, typically the defenseman would have a little bit more leeway in situations like that. And if I was the Penguins coach, I'd be very concerned with that call.
5-on-3 now for the next 21 seconds. Well, the Penguins picked up some momentum with the shorthanded goal. And now maybe a little bit more as Shell Samuelson sends it down the ice. Down to 15 seconds left in the two-man advantage for the Capitals. 2-1 Washington. Juno. Watched by Murphy. Takes him down. Kristich with the puck. Sharp angle. Behind the net now. Looks for Pavanka. The first penalty is over. It's 5-on-4. Fitzgerald's out of the box for the Pens. Johansson. He's got a goal in this game. For Pavanka. He tried to pass it across to Kristich. Couldn't make contact with it. Juno. Johansson. Open with some room is Pavanka. Down for Bondra. Couldn't handle the pass. Gets it back. Gives it away. Francis on the second try. Clears it down the ice. Into the final minute of play in the first period.
And Washington with good control of the puck. A little bit of a miscue. They had the puck rotating throughout the zone. But Pittsburgh starting to get a little momentum here. Jaromir Jagr, a great offensive player. And he's the type of person that can change the fortunes of the team around with one great fake, as he did right there.
Less than 30 seconds left in the first period, down to 45 seconds in the minor penalty. Sean McEachern can't get it out. Juno with room. Cross-ice pass. And Dale Hunter had a great chance for his second goal of the game. Now the Penguins with 10 seconds left. Back 2-on-2. They lose it. Konowalchuk will turn. One final chance for the Capitals. In front for Keith Jones. A little bit too far. And the first period will come to a close.
First period starts in goal. Pittsburgh 8.
The Capitals leading 2-1 the Penguins with a big short-handed goal to get back into this game, Randy.
Well, and we talk about momentum. It has changed, that's for sure. The second period, it'll be exciting.
2-1 Washington at the end of one. Let's get an update now from John Wells.
And we're off to the Colisée in Quebec City. 3-1 Nordique Rangers power play. Messier for Pat Verbeek. One-timer there beats Thibault. And it is 3-2. Quebec in the lead late in the first period. That's the story in Pittsburgh as the Capitals score the first two, but Jager's brilliant goal gets the Penguins right back into this one. We'll continue from TSN Hockey Control right after this.
When I was a kid, they said I couldn't punch my way out of a paper bag. But who wants to fight a paper bag anyway? Because inside a bag like this, you'll find a great Mr. Sub sandwich. And if you call the 800 number on the bag, you could win a Bauer inline skate package from Source for Sports, or a playoff party catered by Mr. Sub. Or you could bag the grand prize, a trip for two to the playoff finals. I don't think so. So don't fight it, get a Mr. Sub. Call the 800 phone number and you could bag a great prize.
Slick 50 engine treatment with Teflon. Can it reduce wear in your engine? Yes. Here's proof. In the Great Slick 50 torture test, a professional driver drove this Slick 50 treated car nearly 20 kilometers with no oil. And here's more proof. Slick 50 is the only engine protection with test results published by the Society of Automotive Engineers, the recognized automotive authority. Reduce wear in your engine with Slick 50 engine treatment with Teflon.
Get Slick 50 at Canadian Tire, Kmart, Sears Automotive, Home Hardware.
Welcome back to Hockey Control. Here's another quick update. Eric Lindros is involved in all 3 goals so far for the Philadelphia Flyers. And this one, he gets himself, making it 3-0 as Lindros banks that one in. And Hasek is struggling for the Sabres. Let's take you there live now and pick up action with Fox again. The Flyers leading the Sabres 3-0 first period.
It's credited as an unassisted goal to Eric Lindros, 17:45 of the opening period, 3-0 Flyers. Here they are again. McTavish fed it across. Hodin had it blocked. Dominic Hasek blocked one, and not that one. It's 4-0.
Well, it's early, but they're beginning to smell it here in Philadelphia.
Everything is bouncing the Flyers' way. 1:56 left in the first period. 4-0 Philadelphia.
Hasek was down after making the first save. And the next shot, it's a knuckleball. It kind of goes up. He just can't get to it, can't reach it. And it goes in the far side. A slight complaint by the Sabres. Not sure about what. Nobody in the area, really. McTavish is out in front, but it is all Philadelphia here in the first period. 4-0.
Patrick Uline, the goal scorer. 2 goals, 19 seconds apart. Patrick Uline scoring for Philadelphia from Podine and McTavish.
4 seconds. Patrick
Uline's first Stanley Cup playoff goal. And the Flyers right back in the zone again. McTavish out in front, skipped between his feet. Pat LaFontaine worked it across to Jason Daw. He is checked by Svoboda. Here's McTavish, 2-on-1. Uline with him on the right side. McTavish. Oh, just wide. That one hit the defenseman, I believe, Zhitnik. At the bar, the post, and now cleared down the ice by Buffalo. What pressure from Philadelphia. Start out of the zone here. Not able to get through center. Bodger fires it back in, but took a big hit. Desjardins from back of the goal. Tries the right side. Kevin Dineen to Rod Brindamore. He has shot it in deep. Racing it after. DeMaio put it right in front. Dineen is shoved to the board by Himmelad. Brindamore chips it deeper. Back on it here. Richard Spalik for the Sabres. Dineen went to him. Brindamore and DeMaio are there together. Number 9, Rob DeMaio. Bodger is all over him. Brindamore comes in to help him out. Philadelphia works the board so well. Another shot to the point is blocked, and Hasek out to cover it back to the goal line. 28 seconds left in the period. Philadelphia dominating.
Well, dominating, and the Dominator has struggled a little bit. He was down on that fourth goal again, and this is driving you a little bit nuts.
It's driving me crazy because I hate a goalie that thinks he can swim in that water. It's frozen water. You can't do it. But, hey, it should be the Philly Barracudas. They can smell it, and are they coming after
Yeah, but
him?
before we criticize Hasek here for a second in the style, yeah, you don't like his style. But remember, this is the guy that won the Vezina Trophy last year. He's odds-on favorite to win the Vezina Trophy again. We don't know how he stopped the puck over the course of the regular season, but he did stop it. And you can't really lay the fact that the Buffalo Sabres are about to go out in 5 games on Dominic Hasek's doorstep. He hasn't been as good as maybe we would have liked him to be, but when you look down the line and look at McGillney, LaFontaine not 100%, no Howard Chuck, and a Buffalo Sabre team that is physically overmatched, they're getting their butts kicked in every department right now.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Eric Lindros has 1 goal and 2 assists. It is already 4-0 for the Philadelphia Flyers at the Spectrum, and very close to the end of the opening period there.
Live at the intermission is brought to you by your local McDonald's restaurants. Have you had your break today?
There are no medals for being the shoulder to cry on. No songs of praise for keeping traditions alive. But to the men who give their best every day, we offer our best. Gillette Sensor XL. Spring-mounted blades and microfins to set up your beard. And Gillette Series shaving gel for incredible smoothness. Sensor XL, the world's best shave. And sometimes that's its own reward. Gillette, the best a man can get.
Summertime fun, need refreshment. Yeah! Summertime fun, need refreshment.
Introducing new frozen concentrated iced tea from McCain. Refreshing, thirst-quenching beverage made with the essence of unique tea blends. McCain iced tea. Caffeine-free, no powdery taste. Just a clean, fresh-tasting flavor of McCain iced tea. Caffeine-free, no powdery taste. McCain, great-tasting refreshment down to a T.
The world's greatest sports sedans all have backbones that are extremely stiff for tight, responsive handling. The new Chrysler Cirrus is the only one that combines advanced cab-forward design with unique rail-through construction to create one of the most rigid sports sedans ever built. And this is where that becomes more than just engineering jargon. The new Chrysler Cirrus, Motor Trend's 1995 Car of the Year.
History teaches primordial perspiration shouldn't mess with one's style. Thus, Right Guard, Pure Power, Clear Gel antiperspirant. It's clear without flaky white stuff. Right Guard, Clear Gel. Anything less would be uncivilized.
The 1995 World Cup of Rugby. TSN's exclusive coverage marches into South Africa Thursday morning, May 25th, for the opening ceremonies, followed by Australia taking on the host South Africans, only on TSN.
Quebec Nordiques are hoping to hang on after a couple of tough losses in New York. The Rangers are after their 4th straight win in this series. Let's check out what's happened so far. Early first, Clark to Ricci. He's parked in front and redirects it behind Richter. It is 1-0 Quebec early.
And the Rangers go on the power play. Zubov takes the shot. Adam Graves digs it out from underneath Jocelyn Thibault's glove, and Mark Messier right on the doorstep puts it by Thibault. Game tied at 1.
Then Lowe tries to clear right here. The puck comes right to Wendell Clark, and he blasts one past Richter. 2-1 Quebec at that stage.
And minutes later, Chris Simon does some nice work, puts it out in front, comes around, shoots, and just buries that one right over top of Mike Richter.
After that, Messier set up for Beek, and now the Rangers have closed to within a goal. Solid play by Wendell Clark, and I guess the problem as far as the Nordiques are concerned is the fact that Messier seems to be wide awake.
That's the old good news, bad news trick. The thing is that they're playing. You know what I really like, though? I like the way that the Nordiques are playing with poise. Young coach Mark Crawford has them. They're staying in there. They're not standing around in awe of the New York Rangers. They're going after them. And you've got lots of nice talent on both of these teams playing out there. But Nordiques are showing that they can stay with the big boys and go with them.
Yeah, the problem has been, though, staying with the big boys all game long, and the Rangers seem to be coming on a bit.
Well, it certainly has. And Mark Messier is really playing an outstanding game. He's just an outstanding leader, the consummate leader in pro sports. And it's good for the Nordiques to get Wendell Clark going. That was his first goal, and get him a little bit excited because he's been shipping in with the physical play, but not the offense. Now he's got the offense going, but on a day when Mark Messier starts to heat it up, you never know. The Rangers could easily come back from this one.
All right, Mac, just ahead, the Wings and the Stars. And after one in Pittsburgh, it is the Capitals leading the way. 2-1 after one. Yager has the only goal for the Penguins so far.
Can't fake smooth.
If the choice was yours, you'd wear something casual to work. But in reality, you have to wear steel-toed work boots. So you wear comfortable, lightweight Dakota Aggressor work boots with the safety you need and the all-day comfort you want. So, when work's finished, you're not. Dakota Aggressor work boots for men and women only at Mark's Work Warehouse.
Now, to each man who shaves, there's an Edge all his own. Only Edge Gel has 7 custom formulas, from extra moisturizing to sensitive skin, for a close, comfortable shave. Ultimate closeness, ultimate comfort. That's the Edge.
It's here. It's invading your living room. The RCA Home Theater. Big, bright, with powerful sound. For an experience so extraordinary, you won't believe your senses. It's where the future of television is taking you.
Come into any RCA dealer across Canada for out-of-this-world savings. Roger, play copy.
Today's cars and trucks are more advanced than ever, but there is a price. Their harder-working engines can wreak havoc on the motor oil, breaking it down almost immediately. That's why Castrol GTX provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol, or your harder-working engine could make things hard on you. Castrol GTX, engineered for greater protection against breakdown.
Look for Castrol's free NHL hat offer at these and other leading outlets.
In Dallas, the Red Wings getting a chance to finish off the Dallas Stars. A win would be their first playoff series win in 3 years. Surprise, surprise, the Stars are ready for this one. Andy Moog comes up big in the first 2-on-1. Big save off Doug Brown right there.
But it's Dallas who finally gets a lead in this one. Some nice work here by Dean Evason, goes behind the net, picks up the loose puck, throws it out the back door. Mike Vernon turns to answer the front door, and Greg Adams puts that one by him.
Then Kevin Hatcher lets one go from the point. This on the power play. Hatcher winding up. His first of the playoffs. It is 2-0. Dallas leading Detroit. That is after one. The Stars have never had the lead in the series till now.
Well, they mentioned, John, that some of the guys went to a baseball game. Scotty went to a golf game. They didn't mention where Mikey Vernon went.
Well, he was out to lunch on goal one, but that's another story.
Live at the Intermission is brought to you by your local McDonald's restaurants. Have you had your break today?
Since the beginning, you could always depend on your neighborhood for whatever you needed for your family vacation. Even when you needed a car with more trunk space.
Let Thrifty help you plan your vacation with a free custom trip routing from the Canadian Tire Auto Club.
So whether you're traveling in your neighborhood or to someone else's, we're there. Your neighborhood Thrifty car rental, historically known for low rates.
Remember what phone calls used to cost? Well, it's back, and it's from Cantel, the company that brought you affordable cellular. Introducing Amigo Time, the new 10-cent a minute leisure rate you get with Amigo. For $19.95 a month, talk all you want after 6 p.m. and the entire weekend. All for just a dime a minute. There's never been a better time. Amigo Time.
In a rink, in Kamloops, plays the future of hockey. Like the great ones before him, Time has honed his skills, his precision, his determination, his name. Now, his time is here. On the ice for the championship. Tune in to the stars of tomorrow with the excitement of the Memorial Cup Hockey Finals. Major Junior Hockey, Real TV, TSN.
We see one of the drivers getting into the car, apparently. Another 103 left. We have a red flag. A red flag. We're reporting to see if we can spot what it is. There has been some contact made. The driver is getting out of the car.
Get revved with the explosive Players Limited IndyCar Racing Series. Motor Madness takes to the turns of the Milwaukee Mile Oval Sunday night. The wheels are turning right here on Real TV, TSN.
Welcome back to TSN Hockey Control in Pittsburgh. Still a few minutes to go in the intermission after one, so we'll slide off to Dallas and pick up on the Stars, who lead the Red Wings 2-0 early in the second period at Reunion.
Here is Smolik fighting off a hook from Primo. Gagne now able to regain control, flipped it ahead, blocked by Lidstrom, recovered by Gagne, picked up by Kennedy, drives the shot, fired it just wide of Vernon on a 45-footer. Kennedy smoked that one just wide on the 6th side of the Red Wing goaltender. But again, it was a shot, a scoring chance that missed the net. Here is Primo. Working his way through, the shot bounced wide of Moog. Now Cicerelli runs into Gagne. The puck flashed out by Coffey, recovered by Cicerelli. Cicerelli drop pass here. Now here's a chance for the wing. Stop by Moog, and he covers up as Sean Burr got perhaps the Wing's best scoring chance since the 2-on-1 early in the game for Fedorov and Brown. And what a pass by Dino Cicerelli. Moog is able to make the save and has trouble handling the puck, but is able to cover up. But Dino Cicerelli, we talk about him in his outstanding play around the net and scoring goals, but what a pass that he made to Sean Burr through the legs, on the backhand, right on the stick of Sean Burr, who ended up with the shot. Game number 3, Cicerelli's first one back. Where is he? Around the net. That's his first goal. Keep watching the net. There he is on the other side. And again, he'll get one more opportunity right on the post. Boy, when he gets it on his stick, he just doesn't miss. Here's a shot off a face-off win by the Wings. It was whistled wide by Fetisov. The Stars try to clear it, held in by Rouse. He shoots it back over top of the Dallas goal. Fedorov takes a look over his shoulder, takes a hit from Hatcher. Fedorov gets to it. Now trying to work his way out of tight quarters, drops it to Kozlov, drives it toward the net. Moog just held his ground. Stars give it away. Rouse, a shot deflected wide. Best sustained pressure for the Red Wings probably in the game. Here is Kozlov. Nice play to the right point for Rouse. Drives the shot, tipped wide by Brown. Fetisov at the left point. Little pass there to Kozlov. In deep for Fedorov. Fedorov working against Hatcher. Back to Fetisov. Fights off a check and rolls it deep into the Star zone. Matvichuk band down the puck. Here is Kozlov right out in front. Rolls it right to the goal mouth. Wings couldn't get a stick on it. And Platt will chop at it. Gets it to center ice. Downey has it. He has good speed. Downey is in for the shot. And it was blocked by Vernon, who took everything away by following him right across the crease. And Vernon never could get, or I should say Downey could never get Vernon completely out of the play.
Well, the Red Wings have done everything but score in Dallas. We'll keep you posted when they do. Right now, we're ready for the face-off in the second period at Pittsburgh, and here's Dan Schulman.
Thank you, John. Back here at the Civic Arena with Randy Gregg. Back here at the Civic Arena, along with Randy Gregg. 2-1 for the Washington Capitals as period number 2 is set to begin. The Capitals have 20 seconds left on a power play. Ulf Samuelsson in the box for slashing. Big shorthanded goal late in the first by Jaromir Jagr. Injected some life back into this building and maybe into the Pens as well. They face elimination today. Capitals leading the series 3-1. Pens in white, caps in red. That's Kristich. Bondra, LaRue tries to clear it. Now Pittsburgh does get it out to center ice as Ulf Samuelsson is out of the penalty box. He was offside though, but Terry came out to play the puck. Now Francis in deep, tries to throw it in front. Gets another chance, gets it in front, and Bondra clears it out of harm's way. Kjell Samuelsson clears it back in as Stevens clears the zone. Behind the zone, Nadia Johansson out to center ice. Joseph has to be careful. Bondra was behind him. Now another delayed offside. The Penguins will bring it out. McEachern to Jagr. Every time he touches the puck, this crowd comes to life. Carey leaves it for Cote. Joey Juneau at center ice, checked by Robitaille. Now back to Jim Johnson for Washington. Splits the defense, dumps it in, and a penalty is coming to Washington. Johnson retaliated, and he's going to get the gate. The Penguins will get the first power play of the second period.
Well, Jim Johnson talking to the referee about that. Not quite so sure that was obvious.
An early power play chance for the Penguins when we come back. Washington leads 2-1.
The moment. You can feel it coming. And you're ready to make it your own. Mizuno. Serious performance.
Susan Ock, Canadian Olympic silver medalist.
To win, you have to push your limits. That leaves my hair sweaty and out of control. So I count on Pert Plus. Some other tuned ones just don't work for me.
Pert Plus has control-enhancing conditioners that help smooth every strand to leave your hair more manageable.
I don't fuss with my hair. Pert Plus gives me manageable hair that's in control.
A winning combination for manageable hair.
Back underway, Pittsburgh on the power play. Jim Johnson of the Capitals in the box. 2 minutes for slashing. Shot by John Cullen. Held by Jim Carey as he's tested for the first time here in the second period. This scoring summary is brought to you by your local McDonald's restaurant. Capitals got going. A power play goal by Dale Hunter on a giveaway by Francois Leroux at 11:19 of the first. 1-0 Washington. Calle Johansson just 4 minutes later made it 2-0, but then a shorthanded effort by Jaromir Jagr on his nice and individual effort, as you'll see, made it 2-1. Washington out shooting Pittsburgh 11-8 in the first. A minute 23 left in the penalty to Jim Johnson. Ron Francis and company out there for the Penguins trying to tie this game up. Francis wins the draw back to the point to Murphy. He's out there with McIver, Francis, Stevens, and Jagr. Down goes Francis. Murphy keeps it in. Jagr has it behind the net. Now tries the wraparound on Carey. He got down to block the puck, and Connor Walchuk sends it down the ice.
Every coach will tell you that even strength faceoffs are very important, but especially when you have a man advantage. Francis did a real good job on that faceoff and just about had a great scoring opportunity because right off the bat, they had possession of the puck.
Now Stevens has possession off to Francis. Bumped very gently by Ricky. Stevens tries to get it back to the point, kept in by Murphy. McIver to the side of the net for Jagr. Behind the net now for Francis. Tries to bat it in front to Stevens. It does get in front in the crease. Jagr got a couple of whacks at it, but Jim Carey has the puck. It's now some close quarters after the play there in Jim Carey territory.
Well, the Washington defensemen have to keep their eyes open. Watching Ron Francis, the NHL league leader in assists, and he just about gets another one here. You can see the pile-up. Jagr looking at it. Now take a look. Washington defensemen come in and start to dominate physically. They want to protect their #1 asset, and that's Jim Carey.
Down to 36 seconds left in the power play. Eddie Johnston with some instructions for Ron Francis. Jagr and Samuelson having a meeting of their own.
And with 36 seconds, let's take a look and see which team wins this faceoff. A very big opportunity. Either it goes down the ice, or the Pittsburgh Penguins have another great chance of tying this game.
Francis for the Penguins, Mike Eagles for the Capitals. This one may be a draw, but it's Pittsburgh who comes up with the puck on the far boards. Now struggling to keep it in is Ulf Samuelsson. He goes down. Into the corner is Stevens, pushing his man. Francis in the face-off circle, watched by two Caps. Ricky after it. And Jagr finally comes up with it. Down to 15 seconds left in the power play. Jagr close to the blue line, down to Stevens. Francis is in front, can't get a shot away as he's taken down. The puck is still loose. And the Penguins come close there. Francis down one, hands it to Jagr. Slap shot is tipped wide off Ivanka. The penalty now over. The Penguins with a couple of good chances in close quarters. Jagr at center ice. He's got the Penguin goal. They trail 2-1. Keith Jones looking for it. Now Troy Murray on the ice for the Penguins. This is Rob Pearson. Loses it. Jones takes over. Pearson had a goal for the Capitals in Game 4. That was his first appearance in the series. Now Pearson toward the net. Some traffic in front. Penguins clear. Johansson watched by Hudson. Pearson, his left wing pass. Juneau. And nobody in front. Reggett with an easy save. 4 minutes into the second period. It's still the Capitals 2 and the Penguins 1.
Unchained, linked to a native instinctive appetite to break free, wheeling, leaving the city's limits behind, sight disappearing in the rearview mirror. Why? Because I am.
Closed captioning this period, courtesy UAP Napa Auto Parts, the pro's choice in 2,600 member installer and Auto Pro service centers across Canada. Well, in case you missed it, Jaromir Jagr brought the crowd back to life, Randy, in the first period with an outstanding effort shorthanded.
And, you know, every Washington player on the replays has seen that move 50 or 60 times. Why is it that Joe Juneau goes for it again? Well, it's the beautiful way in which Jaromir Jagr goes hard to the left, and he's not a wilting violet at 6'2". He's got a lot of presence. You can back off and take away that little deke, but if you do back off, he's in the high slot, and he can score a goal with his shot right from that area anyway.
Juneau, a forward, playing the point on that power play, burned by Jagr.
And there is the man he went around, Joe Juneau, a great offensive player in his own right, but maybe not the defensive defenseman you want in a case like that.
Team's back at full strength now. Shot into Capital territory by Mike Hudson. Mullen chases after it. Johansson beats him there. Now the puck is in there, skates down behind the net. 4 players battle for it. Hudson kicks it free, but to Rob Pearson. Chance for a 3-on-2 for the Capitals. Juneau got a little too fancy, dumped it in. Kjell Samuelsson back there first. Nice hit by Keith Jones on Hudson. Samuelsson goes into the far boards. Rob Pearson working well. Watched by Kjell Samuelsson. Now Hudson takes over for the Pens and clears the zone. Mullen chases after it. Sergei Gonchar is there with him. Funny bounce off the end boards. Robitaille behind the net. Too far for Mullen. Now Troy Murray gets a shot away. It's deflected in front. And it lies there free in the faceoff circle until Pearson picks it up. And the Pittsburgh crowd is all over the referee, Mike Magoo, for a penalty as Robitaille was taken down in front. Back the other way for Sean McEachern now. It's a bump from Cote. Puck is free in the corner. Robitaille in front. McEachern gets a quick shot away. Save Terry. Sandstrom lost his stick in front of the net. Capitals clear. Center ice now, Kristich with Pavanka. Back the other way, onside, but taken down as Luke Robitaille. And the Penguins will be going to the power play.
Well, the Penguin fans don't like this, but take a good look at it. Boy, something happened to Luke Robitaille's right knee there. He's an excellent master at that, and we see it a little bit earlier the same way right here. Earlier on, Robitaille's there. It goes down like a sack of hammers. I don't feel bad about offensive players doing that. The defensemen are going to try to take advantage, and the role of a good defenseman is to make sure you control your man, but don't let him dive like that and get you in the penalty box.
I'll tell you, Robitaille had a hold of a Washington player's stick both in front of the net when he was taken down and a hold of Klee's stick when Ken Klee took him down on that partial breakaway. So a good job, if you like that kind of hockey, by Luke Robitaille to draw a penalty there.
Well, you know what? It's just a challenge for a defenseman. You know that people like Robitaille, not only are they great goal scorers, but they're going to do that all the time. So it means you have to adjust your style. Here it is. Ken Klee's got to either get rid of his stick or he has to say to himself, I'm going to take that penalty because I don't know whether my defense partner's back there to cover up on me. The best situation, of course, is to never get into that offensive positioning and have someone so potent offensively as Luc Robitaille behind you.
Second power play of this period, fourth of the game for the Penguins. They've had their chances, but have yet to score with the man advantage. Their only goal coming shorthanded. Francis again wins another important faceoff. McIver's shot is blocked, and now Konowalczyk lost his stick, so he gloves it down the ice and heads to the bench for a new one. Yager, Francis, and Stevens again with Murphy and McIver. Francis, first man in front for Stevens. They score! The Penguins have tied it.
Pittsburgh Penguins have tried to develop their power play by setting up. This time they dump it in, and what happens? A nice easy goal. Almost looked like it went in off Kevin Stevens' leg, but it was unintentional. And whatever the case, that goal stands. Smart play by Larry Murphy, the Washington Capitol defenseman standing up. His only opportunity, and Kevin Stevens made a great play by going directly to the net, the dangerous area in the game of hockey.
And it's a power play goal for the Penguins, and it ties up this game at 2-2. Remember, the Capitals had a 2-0 lead late in the first. But the crowd is back into it at the Civic Arena, and so are the Pens. It's a tie game.
Now, I wonder, Dan, if the official scorers are going to take a look at that and maybe give Luc Robitaille an assist on that goal. It was his great ability of, I won't say acting, but he's lived in Los Angeles for a few years. He knows the proper way of going down when there's a little bit of a hook. But you know, in the game of hockey, especially in the playoffs, you have to do whatever it takes, whether it's a punch in the face or maybe reacting to a slight hook to make sure that your team gets a distinct advantage.
Today's game brought to you in part by Molson Canadian. Washington 2, Pittsburgh 2.
And this is an excited group of fans right here. They were looking into the face of extinction this year, and maybe, as we said earlier in the broadcast, the possibility of a dismantling of these all-star players in Pittsburgh. We'll wait and see. Not only do they need a goal here, but the momentum to beat Washington the next 3 games.
Just announcing the goal now. We'll get you the assist in a moment. It is 2-2. Play down in Pittsburgh territory now. Kelly Miller is in there for the Caps. Dale Hunter, he scored the first Washington goal, centers it, Murphy grabs it, and the Penguins clear. Stevens with a chance. One-on-one with Cote. Cote does a nice job to push Stevens into the far boards, but Yager is in there now. The Penguins skating well. Riki loses it. Stevens out there with Yager and McEachern. Back at the point, kept in by Pittsburgh. McEachern, Yager to the front of the net. McEachern goes the other way, lays it back to the point, and finally the Capitals can clear. Give the assists on the Stevens goal to Ron Francis and Larry Murphy. It's a 2-2 game. Power play goal at 5:57. Here come the Penguins again. Robitaille's taken down. McEachern right in front, and a big save by Jim Carey. As in there all alone was Thomas Sandstrom. And you talked about the Capitals protecting their goalies. Breaking down a little bit now. The Penguins are making a run, and they've tied the game at 2.
Even if you think you bought a high-tech fax machine, your office may still be in the Stone Age. Only one company uses the latest laser imaging technology in every plain paper fax machine it makes, Mita. To survive in the future, the times demand Mita.
4-0 Flyers with a lead, and Dominic Hasek cut out of position here. Watch what Hasek tries to do to avoid Leclerc's goal. He dumped over the net. It didn't work. Leclerc gets the goal. It's 5-0 Flyers, and we send you back to Pittsburgh.
Well, the rout is on in Philadelphia. The Flyers all over the Sabres. It's a much closer game here. The Penguins have tied it, and Randy very nearly took the lead.
Well, and take a look at this. How many times do you see a good goal scorer like Thomas Sandstrom hit the goaltender right in the chest? Sandstrom in the last 4 games, only 1 goal, 1 assist, 16 penalty minutes, and a -6 plus-minus. Eddie Johnson would love to have a Thomas Sandstrom at the top of his game for the rest of this game and on through the series.
Penguins have outshot the Capitals 7-3 so far in the second period. They have the only goal of this period as well. Chris Joseph keeps it in, but only momentarily. Connor Walczyk sends it out, and Joseph rifles it right back in. Offside is called at the Washington blue line. 12:43 left in the second in a tie game. This has been one of the real pleasant surprises, Randy, for Coach Jim Schoenfeld. The play of Connor Walczyk in that line.
It certainly has. At 6'1", 195 pounds, and the speed that Steve has, he can get in and create that kind of intensity offensively that the Washington Capitals are noted for. But he also has 5 shorthanded points this year, so he's multi-purpose out there. He's really, as far as I'm concerned, a great example of this Washington Capitals team. Not a great deal of ultimate goal scorers, but they work so well together, and really that's a credit to Jim Schoenfeld. He's done a superb job with his Capitals team.
When you look at their leading scorers, Hunter and Connor Walczyk are up there. Juneau is up there. Bondra is up there, and all these players play on different lines. All 3 of Washington's top lines represented among their scoring leaders. Different story for the Penguins, who in this series at least have been more of a one-line team. Both teams at full strength. That's onside as the Capitals avoid an icing. Ken Klee through traffic, the save by Reggett.
I'll tell you one thing, Dan. If I was Jim Schoenfeld, I'd be getting back to the game that got us here, and that's a dump-in type of game, getting on these young defensemen like Joseph and LaRue, trying to make sure, just like this, Craig Berube going in, creating some things. Now, Craig wasn't able to finish this one off, but that's the type of game that Washington's going to be successful at. And over the last 15 minutes, Pittsburgh has really taken that momentum away.
No rebound from Reggett, and nobody in front of the net for the Capitals. Jim Schoenfeld, his team leading this series 3-1. Craig Berube, really symbolic of the type of player who has been successful against the Penguins, doing the dirty work in the corners.
Berube, a native of Calahoo, Alberta, knows he's never going to be a great goal scorer, but he's going to do those sorts of things that will get the momentum going for his team and really create some offensive chances for the guys that do put the puck in the net.
Face off to the left of Ken Reggett. Troy Murray on the draw for the Penguins. Pivanka for the Capitals. Draw one by Washington. Bondra threw the pass back out over the blue line, and the Capitals have to clear. Now the sticks get up as Pivanka got his stick up on Troy Murray. The crowd wanted a penalty on that. Hudson taken down. Play scrambly at center ice. Hudson clears it off the far boards. Calle Johansson has it for Washington. Now they bounce off the boards. Kristich takes a bump. Here come the Cap stuff. Gonchar, he'll jump up into play from his defense position. Bondra in front, and Kristich couldn't get a clean shot away. Penalty coming, and now the Capitals will move to the power play. It looks like Kjell Samuelsson is heading to the box, and again some pushing after the whistle.
Getting a little bit more physical, that's for sure, but these players have to be very, very careful. They're not going to take some penalties that might cost their team dearly. At 2-2, they just can't afford to take the costly penalty. Take a look at that. I think many of the penalties have been called so far is probably less than what we saw right there.
Now that wasn't even the penalty as Murray pushed and then Pivanka punched, but later on Kjell Samuelsson got caught for holding at 8:21, and the Capitals had their first power play opportunity in the second period. They've got a power play goal in this game. Dale Hunter scored it back in the first. The Capitals with a very slow start to the 94-95 season, but they got hotter as the season went along. play for the Caps now. Juneau back at the point. Roy Murray takes over for Pittsburgh and dumps it down the ice.
Here we see Pittsburgh killing a penalty. They have Murphy and Francis on the ice. You have to wonder that by the time the third period comes, if you're overusing your stars like that, your offensive and defensive stars, whether in fact you might be coming up a little bit short. Let's watch and see in the third period whether Murphy and Francis start to tire a little bit.
And Yager out there as well as a short-handed goal in this game. This is Keith Jones for the Capitals. He's had a very good series. 3 goals so far. Watched by Yager. 4 players in on the near boards. Now 5 as both teams struggle to get it free. And coming up with it is Dale Hunter. Checked by Yager. Bumped by Konowalchuk. Behind the net to Jones. Juneau sneaking in from the point. Now Hunter back on the near side to Johansson. Juneau tries to throw it in front. Francis in the way. Jones off to Hunter. Less than a minute to go, and the penalty is right in front. The Caps get a good chance, and Hunter scores. All kinds of traffic in front of Canarregan. He had no chance. Hunter has his second of the game, and it's 3-2 Washington.
What a fabulous play by Joe Juneau. Went in quickly to get the puck, and instead of taking the shot, he sees Dale Hunter right in front. Here we see some hard work in the corner here. The puck goes into the corner. There's Joe Juneau. Instead of shooting, a great little pass and an open net for Dale Hunter. Great heads-up play. Joe Juneau really deserves all the credit for that. Of course, Dale Hunter, where is he? Where he always is, right in front of the net, the most dangerous area, and that's why he's the leading scorer for this Capital team in the playoffs.
He has 8 points so far. Juneau, as he so often is, setting up the goal scorers for the Capitals. Juneau this year scored just 5 times all season, but he had 38 assists.
Well, and he showed us a long time ago in 1992 when he played for Canada's Olympic team that he was an offensive threat. Here in Washington, his job responsibility is slightly different, but when he gets a chance like that, you know, the pucks can be right on the sticks.
Juneau and Keith Jones draw assists on the goal by Dale Hunter. Second point of the game for Hunter. Second point of the game for Jones. It's a power play goal. Second of the game for the Capitals. And it's 3-2 Washington. And again, as we discussed earlier, now it's another uphill climb for the Penguins. They've rarely had the lead in this series.
Dan, the first time Johnstone put Yager and Francis out to kill a penalty, it worked in his favor. That time they were a little bit sloppy, and the middle ice zone in front of the net was open. And again, they're down by 1.
3-2 Washington. We near the midway point of period number 2. LaRue tries to tomahawk it into the Washington zone. Doesn't work. Now McEachern. Stick work from Bondra. He clears it in. No icing. Sandstrom in there quickly along with Robitaille. Sandstrom knocked down, gets back up. Robitaille knocked down. He can't get back up, and now a whistle behind the net. Been a pretty chippy series. Thomas Sandstrom doesn't shy away from that kind of play.
No, he enjoys it. The rougher it is, the more he enjoys it, that's for sure. His style is dictated in that regard. He likes to get into the corners like that, be fairly physical, but you know, he also has the hands of a goal scorer, and when he gets that chance, he can finish it off.
Another player doesn't shy away from anything. Dale Hunter has been a star for the Capitals in this series. 4 goals and 4 assists. Take another look at some of that action behind the net on the last play. Robitaille has spent much of this game getting knocked down, getting pulled down, getting back up. There's Cullen on the ice now as the Capitals break free. A chance for a 3-on-2. Mullen hustling back to help out. Miller to Hunter. Backhand pass didn't get through. Back the other way come the Pens. Mullen tees it up. Falls forward as the slap shot goes wide. John Cullen in for Fitzgerald. And Hunter clears it off his own man. It doesn't get out. Joseph's shot tipped over top of the net. Mullen for Cullen. Keeps it in at the blue line. Now falls and it's out. Here's Johansson. And Johansson is pulled down. There's a penalty to the Penguins and an obvious one. Washington with a 1-goal lead. Back to the power play.
Well, Dan, this is a line that has to produce for the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Cullen, Mullen, Fitzgerald line. They haven't so far in this series, and that was a costly error. Let's hope from the Penguin standpoint that necessary hooking penalty by Chris Joseph won't turn this into a 2-goal spread.
John Cullen out near the Washington blue line, and with the other Pittsburgh defenseman pinching in, Joseph had no choice but to haul down Johansson.
Well, and take a look at the speed of Johansson, too. An ordinary defenseman like, someone like me, for instance, a few years ago, Chris Joseph probably wouldn't have had to pull him down. But there, Johansson jumps up into the play, takes good offensive opportunities, and if the Capitals get a goal here, again, I'd have to say Johansson was a big part of it.
Face off to the right of Regan. 9:15 left in the second period. 3-2 Washington. Ulf Samuelsson to the line. Not out. Bondra, Ivanka, and Kristich, the forwards for the Capitals. Kristich battling Shell Samuelsson. Ivanka, Kristich along the boards, gets it back to the blue line. Juno makes the shot off to Kristich. He'll shoot it, save Regan. Big rebound to the corner. Kristich is there. A minute 30 left in the power play. Pittsburgh with a chance to clear, and they just do. Hudson doing the job. Back quickly come the Capitals. Kristich dumped it off. Ulf Samuelsson there, and he gets it out. Roy Murray with a long shot, gloved easily by Carey. Johansson. Shoots it in as the Capitals change on the fly. Sandstrom can't get it out. And now it's gloved ahead. It's Mike Magoo by Rob Pearson. So play will stop. Get it a good scoring chance.
Good call in that situation by Mike Magoo. He was right on top of the play there. And he may have heard something he didn't like very much on the ice at that time.
Schoenfeld waiting for an explanation at the Washington bench. Schoenfeld's not happy. Eddie Johnston heading into this game with his team trailing 3-1.
Eddie was telling me before the game that he's got a number of different offensive strategies. As we see too many men on the ice call against the Washington Capitals, that will put a smile on Eddie's face. And Schoenfeld, on the other hand, wondering about the specifics.
Schoenfeld still getting an explanation, but the power play is over for the Caps. They still hold a 3-2 lead.
For years, gene companies have copied each other. Maybe that's why all brands seem the same. Except one. It's new and clearly different. Biker Blues, the Harley-Davidson blue jeans. It's about time.
Exclusively at Canadian Harley-Davidson stores coast to coast.
Too many men on the ice. The call on the Capitals. That's it for the power play. Rob Pearson will serve the penalty for Washington for the next minute and 1 second. The two teams will be 4 skaters aside. Luke Robitaille on the draw for the Penguins. Joey Juneau for the Capitals. He wins it. Gonchar. More room on the ice now. Juneau gets it back to Gonchar. Barring any further penalties, the Penguins will have a power play of 59 seconds. Here they come, 2-on-2. Robitaille and Sandstrom. Robitaille leaves it for Sandstrom, who got a good shot away through traffic and just missed. Shell Samuelsson rubs his man out. Now Ulf picks off the pass up to big Shell Samuelsson, moving into the offense. Lugs it around behind the net, watched by Johansson. They continue to back in the far corner. Now with 15 seconds left in the Pittsburgh penalty, Ivanka shoots it in. Here's Joseph getting set to come out of the penalty box. Penguins looking forward to an abbreviated power play. Now a turnover as Joseph is out. The Capitals are short-handed. Kelly Miller into Pittsburgh territory. Trying to use as much clock as he can right now. Doing a good job of it as well. Backhands it down behind Regan. Now Yager. The right wing pass, Larry Murphy. Loses control. Miller can't get it out. Yager. Around one man. Francis between the legs. Cote takes over and sends it down the ice. Penguins getting a little fancy there on the power play. 25 seconds left in the bench minor to Washington for too many men on the ice. Francis, center of the ice to Stevens. Out comes Carey to play the puck. Cleared out again by Washington. Just 5 seconds left of the penalty now. Rob Pearson getting set. There's Ulf Samuelsson. It's onside. Stevens tried to backhand it toward the net. Ricky picked it off, and this is onside for Rob Pearson out of the penalty box, and a big save by Ken Regan. Pearson broken alone. Now another chance in front, this time for Bondra. And back come the Penguins. Washington coming close. Yager. McEachern with a backhand. Carey the save, and he hangs on to the rebound. Good end-to-end action here in Pittsburgh. Let's get you an update now from John Wells at Hockey Control.
And we're after the Spectrum in Philadelphia, where the Flyers lead at 5-0 second period. Buffalo finally gets on the board. This is Galley's shot coming right at you. Off a stick in front and in behind Hextall. It is 5-1. Flyers still with a comfortable lead.
Well, Randy, timing is everything, especially when you're hopping out of the penalty box.
It certainly is. Here we see Rob Pearson, who had 1 shot in Game 4 and 1 goal. What a statistic that would be. 2 shots, 2 goals if you had to put that one in. I don't think you really got as much of the puck as you wanted to. It seemed like it rolled off a stick, but a great opportunity, and he got back over the red line to make sure that wasn't an offside pass. Smart play by Rob Pearson.
Because hockey season lasts until July, Micotin penetrates the skin to kill athlete's foot.
3-2 Capitals, 5:51 left in the second period. It was 2-1 Washington at the end of 20 minutes. Hunter and Johansson scoring for the Caps, Yager for the Penguins. Here in the second period, Kevin Stevens tied it up. Then Dale Hunter with his second of the game past Ken Regan gave the Capitals a 3-2 lead, and that's where the game stands right now. Face off to the left of Capital goalie Jim Carey. Jim Johnson off the linesman, and now out by Konowalchuk. Keith Jones as hustling to get into the play with him as Juno gets a shot away in the rebound. And Regan may have gotten back just in time to keep that puck from sneaking in. Johnson with a shot. Doesn't get through. The rebound in the slot. Robitaille has it, and he'll clear for the Penguins. Both teams coming close. Robitaille now dumps it off for Sandstrom, who missed on the near side. Nobody back at the point for the Pens as the puck is back down into Pittsburgh territory.
So much for defensive playoff hockey out here. This is end-to-end action. They should get a big barn just for a play outside.
Now Kent Flee dumps it over the glass into the crowd. We'll have a stoppage. And again, the Capitals, who probably don't want to get into an end-to-end battle with the Penguins. They can't really help it because the Penguins, down a goal in a game they're facing elimination, are giving the Capitals some chances.
They are. Lots of chances coming down here. We can see a great 2-on-1 opportunity. A good pass back to the mid-slot. Defenseman goes down, but look at Juno. The rebound goes right on his stick, and he just either hits the side of the net, or Regan makes a fabulous play to keep it out of the net. Looks like it went right off the post there, Dan.
Juno, who has an assist in this game, very nearly gave the Capitals a 2-goal lead. Mike Eagles facing off for Washington against Ron Francis of the Penguins, who has taken so many of the big faceoffs for Pittsburgh today. Lost this one as again the puck clears the glass into the crowd. Less than 5 minutes to go, second period.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's attendance, 16,083. That's 16,083.
Stay tuned following tonight's game for the TSN Turning Point, sponsored by Super 8 Motels. With over 1,300 locations across Canada and North America, life's great at Super 8.
Clean or what?
Super 8 motel rooms are clean. Here are clean, there are clean. Everywhere are clean. And comfortable.
Super 8 Motels, 1-800-800-8000. Clean, comfortable, and affordable.
Dan Schulman, Randy Gregg back with you at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. Capitals 3 and the Penguins 2. And after an early Washington rush, a couple of goals, the Penguins have made a game of it, but now they find themselves behind again. It's only one goal. It's only the second period, but will they be going for broke pretty much from here on in?
Well, Pittsburgh has to play the game that's got them here, and that's an offensive style, putting a lot of pressure on the Washington defense. Also, during this series, they haven't been able to mount a great offensive thrust in that regard. It's little guys like Dale Hunter and not in spirit, maybe only in height, that will continue to look at doing exactly the same thing with these young Pittsburgh defensemen, creating chances, capitalizing, putting this game out of reach. It's interesting, Dan, this is a sizable game for both teams, but have you noticed the size? Jim Carey, 6'2", Olaf Kolzig, his backup, 6'3", probably the tallest goaltending duo that we have in the NHL right now.
Big goaltenders for the Capitals. Carey, in his rookie season this year, put together a goals against average in the regular season of 2.13. Arrived in Washington at a time when the Capitals were really struggling. They only won 2 of their first 12 games, but that turned around after Carey arrived. The puck is gloved ahead, and the face-off, it is ruled, will come back outside the Washington blue line. What can you say about the job that Jim Carey did this year as a rookie goalie? He almost single-handedly at times pushed the Capitals into playoff contention.
Reminiscent of another rather tall individual not too many years ago for the Montreal Canadiens, Ken Dryden. Similar style, a similar physique. And boy, if he continues to become as aggressive as he was this year and gain some experience, he will be a real force to be reckoned with in the Capital defense.
4:45 left in the second. 3-2 Washington. Stevens dumps it ahead for Francis. Given a push by Cote. And Ariki clears it back down into Pittsburgh territory. No icing as McIver is back. Miller in there. Now Stevens. Good wing pass. Murphy with Francis and Yager. Murphy in deep. Yager to the front of the net. A chance for Francis. He scores! Tie game, 3-3.
Francis leading the league in assists and plus-minus. What a great play he did. Not just to come down through the mid-ice slot area, but he came right over to the left-hand side. Seeing that Samuelson was going around the defenseman, he really made that play. Forced a great shot, and of course the goaltender didn't have a chance. Here we see the little pass back into the mid-slot. Instead of shooting, he goes over onto the left-hand side. Just no chance to carry on that one.
Francis. He's been in on all 3 Pittsburgh goals this afternoon. Has scored 1, assisted on the other 2. He's got 10 points in the playoffs already. And most importantly, he's tied the game at 3. The Capitals keep taking the lead, and the Penguins keep fighting back. 15:42, the time of the goal here in the second period. No icing on this play, regular play. Give the assist to Larry Murphy and Kevin Stevens on the tying goal, and here come the Penguins again. Offside at the Washington blue line as Hudson was pushed in.
Yeah, it's interesting when you play in the National Hockey League for a few years, you start to see the players that you'd really like to emulate, individuals that play the game in a very, very conscious way. They seem to respect the people around them. They're always consistently out there giving 100%. Not only Ron Francis is a great example of that, but Larry Murphy comes to mind. What a great defenseman he's been for so many years. At age 34, he looks like he's playing at age 24 out there. And a smart play, pass out to the slot area, tie this game up.
And Jaromir Jagr made a good play to stay just outside the crease. Some of the Capitals complained that he was in the crease. about 6 inches outside. The goal counts, and the game is tied. 3-3 late in the second period here in Pittsburgh. Robitaille dumps it ahead. Chasing after it is Sandstrom. Jim Johnson will beat it back. With a nice hit on the end boards. Robitaille overskated it. Here come the Capitals. Johnson, the defenseman, ahead to Juneau. Looking for help. Taking over is McEachern. Robitaille's back with him. 2-on-2. McEachern goes wide. The shot is blocked. Robitaille sees it. Jim Johnson didn't, and he was fortunate the puck hit his skate. Back into it and then some here at the Civic Arena. Icing called on the Washington Capitals. Larry Murphy has a couple of assists in this game.
Very strong game, not only offensively, but in his own end. He's the type of player that you want to put out with LaRue or Chris Joseph to really settle him down. You know that when Larry Murphy's out on the ice, they're not going to get breakaways. He's always going to be in great position.
And it's been the big guns for the Penguins in this game. The goal scored by Yager, Stevens, and Francis. Francis has 3 points. Murphy has 2. Stevens has 2. The big players have come to play for the Penguins today. McIver dumps it behind the net. Dale Hunter, who's come to play for the Capitals, has got a couple of goals. Again, Washington can do no better than clearing the zone. 2:40 left in the second. 3-3 tie. Hunter will have to wait for his line mates to get onside. Now Stevens giving Hunter the once-over just inside the Pittsburgh blue line. They're both up now. Francis dumps it in. Hunter and Stevens still going at it a little bit. There they are on the far boards as Hunter tries to slash it out. Can't do it. Francis to the front of the net. Yager got a piece of it. Now Yager's got it back. Into the face-off circle. Takes 4 Penguins to get him off the puck. Larry Murphy keeps it onside. The shot is blocked. Here's Stevens for Francis. And Washington reeling a little bit now. They managed to clear the zone. This will be another icing call on the Capitals. The Penguins are coming on.
Jaromir Jagr in a crowd in the high slot area. It's amazing. The great players seemingly have the great luck as well. Loses the puck, goes onto the skate. He kicks it back up onto the stick. But somehow, after watching Wayne Gretzky for all those years, I realized it's not just luck at all. It's just the way that they practice for hundreds and hundreds of hours. Here we can see it. Loses the puck a little bit. All of a sudden, there it is. Right back up onto the skate. And he still almost has control. The puck back to his teammate Murphy.
Forget how big Yager is and how strong he can be in traffic sometimes. He's got the great moves, but at times Eddie Johnson can see his best player, Yager, be physically dominant as well at times. He's tough to take off the puck. He sure is. Less than 2 minutes to go in the second. Face-off to the right of Jim Carey. Troy Murray, Michael Pavanka. Both kicked out.
An interesting statistic, Dan, in the Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguin team, 21 Stanley Cup rings. The Washington Capitals, 0. So a lot of experience going your way for the fans.
Hudson loses it to Pavanka. Has Bondra with him. Bondra, the NHL's leading goal scorer this year with 34. Finds Kristich. Pavanka. And a nice poke check by Oregador. Pavanka had an open net. Now Kristich, this line working well. Throws it toward the front of the net. Bondra taken down. And Troy Murray has it for Pittsburgh. Gives it away. Bondra, too far for Pavanka. Penguins clear. Cote. Center ice now. Alf Samuelsson bumping his man. Pavanka with a shot through traffic. Missed by a couple of feet. And the Penguins have it as we reach the 1 minute mark of the second. Here come the Capitals. Juneau in there. Kristich, the end of a long shift. Juneau tries to throw it in front. Kristich tries to get a shot away. Can't, still fighting for it. And now Reagan finally comes up with it. A nice work by Dmitry Kristich.
You know, it's hard enough to get the darn puck. When you get it, it's nice to keep control of it. And Kristich did a wonderful job of not only keeping it, but almost getting an offensive chance. And here we see it again. Take a look, using his body to keep the defender away from the puck. 1, 2, 3 rebounds, and then finally, the goaltender Reggett stops the play. Here's another look.
Mullen was on him. Samuelson has lost his stick as well.
This Penn defenseman doing a better job in front of their net, giving Reggett the chance to make the save and not have someone right on his doorstep looking for the rebound.
A much different Pittsburgh team than we saw for the first 15 minutes of the first period. The Capitals were out shooting the Penguins handily, and they had a 2-0 lead. It's now 3-3. 47 seconds left in the second period. Face off to the left of Reggett. One by Hunter. Gonchar doesn't get through. And now Francis. Every time Francis is on the ice, it seems Dale Hunter is on the ice for Washington. They've both had good games. Gonchar, Capitals are onside. Walchuk throws it in front for Hunter. He's looking for a hat trick. Eagles, beat by Murphy. Hunter takes over. He's tricked. 8 seconds left in the period. Maybe one last rush for the Penguins. Reggett leaves it for Murphy. 8 seconds left. Murphy up the center of the ice for Francis. Down to 3 seconds now. And the Penguins will not get a scoring opportunity before the end of the second period. But their fans are happy, Randy. They're back in the game after it looked pretty bleak for a while.
Well, they sure are. It's interesting to see Eddie Johnson still not matching lines. He's letting the Hunter line go up against his big gunners. It hasn't hurt him too much, but 3-3 is still a long way from a win.
3-3 heading to the third. Let's go to John Wells.
And quickly from Pittsburgh, we send you off to the Spectrum in Philadelphia, where the Buffalo Sabres are struggling against the Flyers late in the second period. Philadelphia in a 5-1 lead.